I don't know.
Wait, I want to do this so bad.
Here.
I wish we were recording. That's
The intro.
we are.
Keep that in,
Oh
okay?
my god! Wait.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to the Backseat podcast, episode 2. Wow. You just can't get rid of us.
You can watch episode 1 if you want, or not. I haven't seen it.
No one's seen it.
Well, yeah, but like normally you see it before you post it.
Well, we lived it. That's basically seeing it.
Okay, that's one way of looking at it. All right, episode 2.
Episode 2. We're both kind of sick.
Well, allergies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to our cat, and she definitely laid on me, like, right before I decided to film.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang. Well, I think I'm just allergic to this world, man. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I walked outside, and this notion of walking outside and being like, oh, my gosh, like, the birds are chirping, the sun is out, the leaves are green. It was the most hellish experience of my life. Like, I genuinely wish and pray for autumn or winter.
Are you afraid of touching grass? Is that your problem?
Yeah, I'm not ashamed to say I prefer the air conditioning. I'm not ashamed in any way of saying that I would prefer 24 hours of AC over being in the sun. I work out in the AC. I don't work out in the sun. I look like I don't work out at all, really. But maybe if I worked out in the sun, it would make a better difference.
Could you believe I'm a Pilates girly? I am.
I think so. I mean,
okay.
I believe it. I had to think about it because I was like, well, what is Pilates? What's like a typical Pilates girly, like, what are you supposed to be, like a straw? Like what's
Emma Chamberlain?
No, first of all, Emma Chamberlain is great, man. I love watching her videos. She's like good to watch in the background. You showed me Emma Chamberlain.
I should be Emma Chamberlain?
No, you showed me Emma Chamberlain.
Oh, yeah. I grew up on her, man.
Oh, yeah?
Anyways, let's get into the pod, man.
Pod.
I have some topics written down. You know how I do.
Well, while we're continuing, Sergio, if I can just get a little bit more of my voice. Yeah, appreciate you.
Okay. I'm going to give you... I'm going to give you my first 3 with no context, and you can pick what to capitalize off of.
Okay, let's see.
I have 1, the Pope passed away.
Why are you laughing at that? That's a horrible thing. I mean, not really horrible.
No,
it's like
it's
kind
just,
of a cycle of
I don't
life.
know why I wrote it like that.
Like,
the Pope passed away.
Did you put a smiley face after it?
No.
Okay. Shout out Pope Francis.
And then number 2 is Stormy's TikTok.
Yeah.
Stormy's our cat. And then number 3, in no particular order, Leo Skepi, the Albanian mafia boss, turned TikToker.
Let's start with, and sorry, I know I just got super close to the microphone. Let's start with the Albanian mafia boss.
Oh, Leo Skepi?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have a lot to say about him, but I recently made it to Skepi Talk. I don't even know if that's what they call it. This dude, I kid you not, this is alleged, by the way. I don't know much about Albania and, like, the mafia or whatever, but I'm convinced this dude is literally in the Albanian mafia, and everyone in the comments is, like, our sassy mafia boss, because, like, he's gay, but, like, he's also, like, 6'7", like, built, like, will be in the mafia. And he's just so funny. Like, every time I get on TikTok, this dude is on my For You page, and he's buying, like, 30 grand worth of Versace, like, salt. Like, it's just so random.
I love that.
And I'm just obsessed with him. He's so funny. I recently saw a video. He was like, I'm smoking my cigarette in Miami on the beach, and someone told me it was illegal. Should I go to jail or pay a $500 fine? And he was like, yo, what if I went to jail and then made a Versace t-shirt with my face on it and sold it?
Wait, so he would use like a Versace shirt and then print his face on it?
Yeah.
That's a thing?
I don't know if that's a thing or not. I think I might have just added that Versace part in there because it's like mafia boss energy.
I want to learn how to do that. If we can get that done, I would love to do that to myself, like to get a Versace shirt.
You don't own anything designer at all.
Not yet. Well, I mean, I have some. Is Essentials considered designer?
No.
It's considered boy designer.
Just because it's name brand doesn't make it designer.
Well, I mean, then what's considered designer?
Versace.
Yeah, but like the obvious ones, like what makes them designer though?
They have a designer. Tom Ford, Gucci.
Oh wait, are they named? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I just realized this. I know their names. Like I know.
Christian, you have no class.
No. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't grow up buying Versace. Well, I did buy my mom Michael Kors. Oh my gosh, that's another name. Michael Kors. Okay. Guess is designer? No, but Guess is not a name.
Guess is like
It's like a question,
it's
right?
designer, but there's like tiers to designer.
Okay. Like what's a designer brand that's not a name? Well, I don't know why we're on this, but I'm so interested in this. We're going to put a pin
That's
in that.
not a name.
Let's put a pin in that. Let's think about it as we go.
Oh, I was gonna say YSL, but that's a name too.
Yeah.
Saint Laurent.
Yeah, Saint Laurent. Oh, interesting.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, that's an interesting
I'm
thing.
too poor for this topic. I'm not gonna lie. I'm out of my depth. I'm out of my tax bracket. I'm out of my depth. I don't know enough designer. Like for me, I used to think Target was designer.
But
like,
you
I'm
do
so for
Pilates?
real. Yeah, girl. I'll be using that student discount.
You're not a college student.
Shh,
I
don't
didn't
let them find out.
I didn't say which gym. I didn't say which
I'm
gym.
a college student.
College of life.
I was gonna say that. That's crazy.
All right, so the guy is a Albanian. So is he in the mafia? Like, are they synonymous?
This is not
Is everyone from
confirmed, but,
Albania
like,
a mafia
how is
member?
this- Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking at the same time as you.
Oh, my bad.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No. That was a question. Is everyone from Albania a mafia member? Are they synonymous? Like, what's going on?
So, okay. 2 separate TikToks that I combined. I made it to Albanian Mafia TikTok, and I made it to Leo Skeppy TikTok. Now, I don't think that's an accident that I made it to both sides of those TikToks. Leo Skeppy, Albanian, tall, built man, made of money. Albanian TikTok. Most men in Albania are in the mafia, tall, built, will kill you. Made of money. Made of money. I don't think that that's an accident that there's so much crossover in this Venn diagram. From what I heard from this girl who's allegedly tied to the Albania Mafia, she was like, everyone's in the Albania Mafia. It really doesn't take much to get in there, and you become filthy rich. So I'm like, how else does Leo Skeppy live in Dallas and have like billions of dollars?
I mean, like, he could be a hard worker.
Doing what? He's a content creator.
I'm so sorry, guys. Like, again, I'm sick. I'm trying not to go crazy. But interesting. I don't know. Like, the only thing I know about the Albanian Mafia, like genuinely the only knowledge I have of this is Taken 1.
I've never even seen Taken.
That's insane.
Is that the Mafia?
Taken 1, Liam Neeson, the GOAT.
Wait.
I can give you the
so
plot.
for real. Is that the Albanian Mafia?
It's right, yeah, because it's the Albanian
Oh my
Mafia.
God, Leo. Okay, don't kidnap me. I'm not down with that.
Okay, first of all, we respect all walks of life, right? Within reason. I mean, I'm not upset about it. Listen,
No, I'm not a
I
hater.
have no power to put anyone in any position ever. The most I could do is see Leo in Dallas and be like, you know, what's up, dude? Like, we only go to Dallas once a year to go get my chicken, my turkey leg at the state fair. So like, I feel like if the only time I go to Dallas is to get my turkey leg at the state fair, I'm just gonna go see like Leo and be like, hey bro, like what's up? Like, you know, God bless, praise God. You know, do you know Jesus? And he probably does, cause you know it's Europe. Everyone knows Jesus there. So I'm gonna get my turkey leg and
He
move on.
actually, I don't know if he knows Jesus, but he be praying and stuff.
I mean, can you be a mafia member and know Jesus?
Yeah.
Good answer. Next, all right, the Pope is dead.
Oh, don't say it like that.
Well, I mean, he is. I mean, not in a bad way.
My
I
man
actually
Francis.
really liked Pope Francis. I know a lot of people get a lot like I don't know what the opinions are. I'm not Catholic. Respect to my Catholic people. I got a lot of Catholic friends. Um, all my Catholic friends are just, they just go to church on Sunday. So I don't know if they have an opinion on Pope Francis.
Pope Francis was a hot topic in the Catholic faith.
Oh, was he?
Mm-hmm.
I thought, he looked great. He always had a good attitude.
Really progressive.
I mean, but like, how progressive can you be if you're Catholic?
Well, he's the first pope to realize that gay people are people, so...
But like,
There's that.
Was it that they're people? Well, of course they're people. But was it that they're like not recognized as people? Like, I don't know.
No, it's that they're not recognized as people worthy of God's love.
Oh man,
Isn't that a crazy
I
take?
gotta hear that from like a Catholic theologian. I gotta hear like what their take was, what their like what the disagreements
If gay
was.
people are people?
No, like what the anger was with Pope Francis, because if as whatever today's date is, I think it's like what, the 20th, 21st or whatever of April. I do not think gay marriage is like allowed in the Catholic Church. So
I actually don't know.
I don't know. I hope it. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I'm not Catholic. Good luck to the Catholics, But
Look,
I don't know what I don't know what the argument is. I don't know what. I just don't know anything about their arguments.
the Pope, he was just pretty woke. I'm not gonna lie, I liked Pope Francis. He is my bestie. He became Pope while I was in Catholic school. I've never been Catholic. I'm not Catholic. I don't speak for the Catholics. Please don't cancel me or the Pope. Okay? I watched Conclave.
Whoa, now that's a crazy topic right there, conclave.
But anyways, Pope Francis. We'll get to Conclave in a minute.
Yeah, for sure.
The way I see it and the way I've heard whispers, breaking news, the Pope was just like, he was kind of woke. He was like, yo, how about we stop treating gay people like they're not real people and like be nice to them? And everyone was like, oh my God, and then he was like, yo, what? And then he was also like, hey, also Protestants, like, they're people too.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then everyone was
that's
like,
crazy.
Protestants are people?
Protestants are people.
So I'm paraphrasing. If you're Catholic, literally cancel me. I deserve it. I don't know.
Please don't do that. Love thy neighbor. We're all friends. Kumbaya. But yeah.
I don't know. Look, all I know is that I miss my guy Francis, okay?
Yeah.
I'm in mourning right now. I'm sad. This is just where I'm at. The conclave is happening right now.
Yeah, I don't. But speaking of conclave, which I guess to put a close on Pope Francis, I just thought, he had a couple cool quotes that I liked. He had like just a nice smile. You ever see people that were just with nice smiles? Like, I guess you get a good vibe. Maybe he's just charismatic like that. I think one of the things, and I will end with this one on Pope Francis, but one of the things that I thought was really special was I think they only allow bishops, cardinals, and like high-end priests to view the body, and they, for the first time, allowed a woman, and it was actually like his friend of 40 years who they had like lunch or something every Wednesday, and it was like a really sweet thing. I thought that was such a sweet moment. There's actually a picture of her looking at the body, and she's just like, she's grieving, she's mourning, I guess in a peaceful way, but she's like so like it just, I was like, man, that's a really cool thing. I don't know. I thought everybody liked Pope Francis. So, I didn't know that there was hatred or hate. I hope the Catholics are okay. I hope everyone's okay. How do you, like, if you're a Catholic, do you feel bad if the Pope dies? Or Pope Francis dies?
Would you be sad if your pastor died?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be sad, but I don't know if I disagree with my pastor in such a way. Like, of course I'll disagree in probably small topics, but those two topics sound pretty big in the Catholic faith.
I don't know. I think we're tap dancing into dangerous waters.
Yeah, no. Let's go
All
ahead
I'm
and go back into something cleaner.
Let me cap this for us.
Do it.
R.I.P. Pope Francis.
Yep.
You were a real one for sure. I miss you already.
You did not know this man.
Yes, I did.
You said you miss him already.
I prayed for him, like, to become Pope. In class, we live streamed it. And when that white smoke came out, I was like, oh my God, yes, Jesus. I don't follow this man, but like maybe I should. Like, he's cool. And then God was like, whoa,
I saw the movie Two Popes. That's the most I can say about Pope Francis. But
That's such a good movie. I slept through most of it. I'm
yeah,
not gonna
you did.
lie.
I remember
Before
that.
wait, before I just say that's such a good movie and it's not. I only saw the end. So and I really liked it. It was thought provoking. No, I'm tired of talking about the Pope. I really hope that we find a new one and he's cool too.
What do you
and
mean if we find a new? They're gonna find. They have a new one probably, or how does that work?
Well, they definitely don't already have a new one because they have to like vote and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's like that
Yeah.
movie Conclave. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Well, not to offend anybody. I'm not saying that Conclave is accurate. I'm saying, like the movie where they vote for somebody. You know, I guess the better way of saying like the presidential election, not of any year specifically, the presidential election of how it operates. I'm trying not to go into a deep cancellation period in my life,
Beep,
but
beep, 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 beep. That's all I thought in my head was back. Anyways, I'm tired of the Pope. I'm tired of the Pope. We're done.
no. He was tired too, and now he's
No,
resting
I'm
with
tired of
Christ.
talking about him. This is going nowhere fast.
Okay, next topic.
Episode 2, we get canceled. No, okay.
The Albanian mafia, the Catholics. Who else is against us?
Okay, I'm going to talk about our cat because I feel like we just got like really dark and I'm tired of this. Okay, Stormy's TikTok.
Woo.
Tell me why Stormy has become an influencer before I have.
Well, I can tell you why. I think our cat's great. That's why I think she has a good vibe. I don't know.
Honestly, she deserves it. She's had a hard life. Our cat Stormy, she's 2 years old. We got her from the ASPCA
Shout out ASPCA. We love you.
of Houston.
Adopt, please.
Adopt, don't shop. No, we got her like a year ago almost, probably a year ago by now. And she's just the best. She's such a sweetheart. Like, she's honestly the best cat ever. And I just started posting TikToks of her like about a year ago. Just like showing how she loves to cuddle and like just being the best cat ever. And she's kind of like gotten a little following from the cat community. She has 1,300 something followers. She has like over 20,000 likes over all her videos. She's kind of like what we call a micro influencer. So that's really fun. And I'm in like this cat community on TikTok. But tell me why I'm now a TikTok shop affiliate. Like, I put stuff in her showcase that she likes and like people buy it and stuff. And I'm being sent like all this product to like review. Like right now, after this, we have to go grab these packages. I have a cat pool. Not like one to swim in, but like one that you put toys in and they like fish out of it. I think that's super cute.
Oh,
so
that's cool. I like that.
I have to make a video about that. And also, I got a cat carrier from Gorilla Grip. From Gorilla Grip. They make cat carriers.
Wow. Next, continue. Sorry, just had to.
Look,
First of all, great name. Like, I will be on my deathbed at 90 or like 30 and being like Gorilla Grip. Like, that's crazy.
just
Because it's like a Gorilla Grip, McDonald's, Casio. It's great names. I like that. It's so cool.
But yeah, I actually own a few Gorilla Grip items. They make household stuff. But no, I didn't know they made pet carriers. They sent me a pet carrier, and I have to review that too, or else I'm gonna get sued. So don't sue me.
Yeah.
And then
Don't
I have
sue.
some more stuff that I'm being sent. But I'm just like, how come I'm being sent all this cat stuff, but like I myself am not an influencer?
Well, I mean, I would like to think it's because I feel like there's a community of people who like to watch cats on TikTok.
It's like a niche.
It's like a niche, you know, and I'm sure that there's a community of people that would like to listen to you speak. But
Much smaller.
No, I mean,
They're all in this room.
listen to the 75% of people's minds that are thinking or listening to this. I don't know. I feel like, I guess podcasting is kind of like very, you know, everyone's doing it, or a lot of people do it. Are there many accounts of cat accounts? Like,
It's a pretty saturated market. I'm not gonna
Is
lie
it?
to you. I was kind of shocked.
Like how saturated? Like what's saturated? If that's saturated.
Out of my like 1,300 followers, probably like 90% of them are cat videos or cat talk, like cat TikToks.
Interesting. I don't know that many people were like watching just cats on TikTok.
Sorry, I kicked the table.
You remember Kick? Kick was crazy.
Oh my god.
Kick was crazy.
Oh man.
I want to think if there was a legislator that took it down, like whoever decided to take Kick down, you did God's work. That was the worst app.
No, Omega was way worse than Kick.
I never got on Omega. I genuinely, and maybe for the better, because I was
PDF files
on Omega at like 13. I'm not even lying to you.
like, but I don't know. Like I never got on Omega. I guess there was a girl I liked that she didn't use Omega. She used like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna move this a little bit. She didn't use Omega. She maybe used like another type of app. I forget. It's kind of like the same thing where you gotta, like I guess you're streaming type of thing, and then you swipe, and then like another person that's streaming, and then you swipe. It's kind of like that. But I never got on Omega.
I did. I was like a YouTube kid. So I got super. I also was on Kick a lot. I also was probably messaging
PDF
on
files
Kick as well. The internet. I was unsupervised. My parents are older. They didn't understand the internet. I didn't understand the internet. No one knew the warning signs. I'm okay, by the way. No one asked me of anything, so that's good. But girl, I'm sorry, I kicked that. On Kick, I messaged these accounts that were like pretending to be famous people. So like I was full-heartedly believing that I was best friends with Justin Bieber. That man does not know me. And why would he be messaging a 12-year-old? No.
Wow.
And then Selena Gomez, also I thought I was good friends with her. She does not know me. She's up there with Benny Blanco. Benny Blanco.
Which I know we said this in the last one. I love Benny Blanco.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she does not know me either. But I was thoroughly convinced. I was, like, texting them good morning, telling them about my day.
You were saying good morning, though?
Yeah. No, like,
hi, Justin.
Literally,
good night. I just had lunch today. Dude,
no,
the new chicken selects are crazy.
You're joking, but, like, I'm so for real. Like, all of summer of, like, 2013 was just me messaging
PDF files
on Kick. And then I got into
Do you know there were
PDF files?
No, I thought there were these famous people. I thought I was.
I'm sure this part's
gonna
get like super like censored.
Yeah, honestly, this might not make it to the pod, but I look. I hope it does because we need to spread awareness of what the internet used to be. Gen Z, the younger Gen Z is soft in comparison to elder Gen Zs.
Yeah, because being protected makes you soft.
Yeah, no, not in a bad way, in a good way, soft in a good way. Look.
Yeah. I don't think in any way anyone should be like messaging random strangers.
Yeah, trauma is not a strength. Like it's not something to flex on. Okay.
Wait, pause. that has to be in the pod because that's crazy. That is crazy. That I've never heard someone vocalize that in a way where it's not trying to I guess.
No, yeah, I'm definitely not trying to invalidate.
Yeah, you're not invalidating people, but people like. I guess we'll be like, man, like trauma is my strength. Like I'm like, no, like maybe you're strong out of overcoming the trauma.
You're strong despite, not strong because of.
Yeah, I mean strength is strength, but like, I mean, I have trauma. I'm like, I'm not gonna say like, yeah, I love everything I went through. I don't. I wish I didn't go through anything I went through, but I mean, like, yeah, that's just a crazy thing. That's a crazy one-liner.
It's part of my pizzazz.
I would like to hear like just a bunch of little Alvin and the Chipmunks. Trauma's not my strength.
Alvin and the Chipmunks is so chooky. I'm so sorry.
You didn't like it as a kid?
I did. I did like it as a kid.
I loved it as a kid.
But I feel like that's so millennial of me.
Are we millennials?
No. Well,
Yeah.
you might be.
I may be a millennial. I don't act like a millennial.
You're not.
I don't covet being 18. I do not. No. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this. When I am 30 years old, I will act 30. I will speak with 30-year-olds. I will not try to dress like I'm 20. I'm just gonna say that. I like aging.
I don't.
Why? What's wrong with aging?
I don't know. I just don't like it.
Like, you don't like seeing your life go through different
I
seasons?
don't want to get a chicken neck. You know what I mean? I mean it. I'm not. I mean, I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing. Like,
Oh my God.
I don't.
I'm over here
Look.
talking about like your emotional depth, like your growth as a human being, and this,
I can
your
do that without
consciousness.
physically aging. I don't want a turkey neck. I'm sorry. Like, that comes with age. Everyone in my family, shout out. Shout out my only watchers.
We should probably stop there.
No, it's chronic. The chicken neck runs in the family. I'm sorry. Look, y'all are great. The way you're handling it, really, like, shout out. Y'all are doing a great job. I don't have that grace. Like,
I think
don't,
all of you are beautiful and wonderfully made.
and they are. No, I'm not even saying which side. So honestly, the shoe fits, lace it up and wear it. But I'm just saying in general,
Wow.
it runs in the family. I'm sorry. No. But yeah, no, it runs in the family. I don't want to age. I'm not looking forward. Look, I already have a fat neck. I'm not trying to get it to sag. Like,
You
I'm
don't
sorry.
have a fat neck.
I can't. I do, but thank you. I want to get lipo so bad. Like, I want to look sick in the neck, you know?
Sick in the neck is crazy. Anyway, so what were we even talking? Trauma. Trauma is not your
We're
strength.
talking about Omegle.
The trauma of your
Wait,
neck fat
wait.
is not your strength.
Wait, Omegle.
Omega trauma. Omegle? Omegle.
I'll talk about Omegle since you've never been on it.
Yeah, sure.
There was a season in my life that I would get on it to try to meet Shane Dawson. And,
The YouTuber?
yeah.
Oh, cool.
R.I.P. Shane Dawson. He's not dead. He's just canceled.
Oh.
I would try to meet him and Joey Graceffa and like that age of YouTube, and I would meet nothing but men exposing themselves, and I'd have to swipe through really quick.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. But it was kind of fun because I met this guy. He was British. He was ugly, but like he was British. He was my age, by the way.
Okay.
He was not.
I was about to
a
say, like, was he of my
no,
age?
no. He was not.
PDF files.
He been like a year or two older than me, but he was a minor. I got his kick, and we became really good friends. And like, I could have wanted to date him because that was whenever like internet relationships were like super big back then.
Oh, yeah.
And also, no one in my school like liked me like that, for good reason. I was fat. I don't know why I say was. But anyways, they just like didn't have like they just didn't like me, and so I just really wanted to like date someone. So I tried to like date this guy from the UK. I almost said from Britain. That's not right. From the UK.
Well, technically, it's technically to be correct.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen a map in years. Okay.
What?
I don't know how to read a map.
Like, I'm not talking about streets. Not even states. You don't know how to read country maps? Like,
Are
if
they
you
labeled?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I could.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you know how to read a map.
I can't navigate with a map.
Well, I mean, I'm not asking you to get on a boat and sail. Like, I'm just saying, like, if you saw like Great Britain, the island, like you know
It's an
where.
island?
Continue with your story.
No, wait. Is it really an island?
Yes.
Half my family's from there. I should know this.
Your uncle's coming into town.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Uncle
it's gonna be good.
Paul. He owns like a golf shirt company.
Oh, he does?
Yeah,
Oh, dude, I want to learn how to play golf so bad.
I don't.
I want to.
Sorry, Uncle Paul.
You know, Uncle Paul, if I get sponsored by, I'm never gonna get sponsored for anything golfing. I would be terrible at golfing. But if I ever got sponsored, I hope it's your company.
Shout out.
Uncle Paul.
Anyways, I wanted to talk to this guy that was from Britain, and it just didn't work because the time zones were so drastically different. He like messaged me at 3 a.m, and I was like knocked out. So then I just like ghosted him because I was like, this dude's ugly. He's British. I'm never gonna meet him. And then I just stopped talking to him, and that was my last experience with Kick. And Omegle, I never got back on after that either
Oh,
because I got
really?
tired of.
That was enough for you?
Well, oh, okay, I did lie. Okay, I did get back on Omegle, but I was with like a group of people at a sleepover. A Marie was one of them.
Oh, shout out, Emily.
Shout out A Marie. We used to be roommates. Kiss, kiss. Miss you. I saw her like a couple months ago. No, it was her like birthday party, and we like went on Omegle. It was like it was her 13th birthday party, and we went on Omegle, and that was the last time we went on it.
That bad?
It was a little less traumatizing with like a group of people, because then it was like we're all like like when you see a roach.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I just didn't get back on it. I don't think it was trauma at the time. I think I was just kind of like, why do I keep doing this? This is like, I would get really scared, and I'm like, this is scary. Why do I keep exposing myself to that? So I just stopped.
I think there's this interesting thing. Like I went to go watch this movie called Warfare, which A24. No. But I'm not gonna go into the movie about the.
I'm so tired of this movie.
I've only talked about it once.
And yeah, and that was too much.
No, the movie is extremely graphic. I mean, but I think I don't know. I guess people have this like tendency to like something that's like scary or not like maybe just like. I never want to see a active war zone. I mean, like like in my life, I never want to
Most people don't.
Of course, well, there are some people that do. My stepfather's one of those people.
Shout out.
Well, okay, we're definitely. I will not be chased by the.
No. Okay, who am I to you? Not a threat.
Anyway, so
They're not going to waste valuable resources chasing us. Would they?
Yes, that's a great. Thank you. So anyway, I don't know. I've never wanted to enter an active war zone. There are people that do want to enter active war zones. Maybe they've seen it, maybe they've never seen it. But there are people. My stepfather's one of those people. He's been in active war zones. He's never joined the military. And this is true. He's never joined the military. He's been in active war zones. And, that's just his scene. And he's never going to do it again. My mom's not going to let him. But that's his scene.
That's what's stopping him?
Yeah. He loves my mother. He doesn't want to do that if my mom doesn't like it. So he would do a lot of things that my mom didn't. He's kind of crazy. He is an adventure junkie.
He yearns for the chaos.
He really does. He's an adventure junkie. I mean, I think he just enjoys the feeling of going through an adventure. Mm-hmm. But anyway.
See, I do that when I go to the park. This man goes to war.
But my stepfather really does enjoy going into like, dangerous situations. I think he just enjoys the rush of it. And so like, I've never wanted to enter an active war zone, but I love war movies. I genuinely love them, but I get creeped out every time I watch them. I get sad every time I watch them. I kind of get like, I went to this movie to go watch it, and me and my friend were I'm like, bro, like, oh my gosh, like this is sad. Like this is, it was hardcore. And so that's what I'm like saying. I think people just have a tendency of doing something maybe because it shocks them, or like, I don't know. I would like, if there are therapists or psychiatrists or anyone that studies the brain in any type of way. Oh, Kadi, do you study the brain?
I graduated with a psych degree.
Okay, so
For viewers at home, she said she has a psych degree.
She has a psych degree.
That doesn't mean I'm qualified though.
Well,
I mean, that qualifies you in my eyes.
Well, listen, I'm not qualified to talk about anything, so I might as well just say it. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, we're two degreeless people up here.
Well, hey, I made a semester. I dropped out of that semester. Granted.
So you got nothing but debt. That's the only paperwork you got.
It was $150. That's all I owed, and I never paid it.
That's a Michael Kors bag on sale.
Michael Kors. Anyway, but like, is there that type of thing where like people just, I guess they'll watch or do something that's just like just, I don't know, like maybe because it shocks their brain.
Well, I mean, I feel like that would tie in with like the fight or flight response.
Interesting.
And then, so that's like a mix of psychology, but then also like biology within that. And it can kind of also be based in how they were raised. Like a lot of things stem from, like even before you were born, just at conception, like a lot of things can happen within like you waking up in there. But let's say like you had a tough childhood or something,
Yeah.
But like for some people, it's like if you grew up seeing certain things or like kind of going back to like the internet stuff, that's a big thing too. Just the internet, you have
Oh.
such access to everything that you're like, oh, I want more and more and more, and then you become desensitized.
Oh, that's
Is that what I am?
crazy.
Desensitized?
Let me get my notebook out real quick.
Like psychoanalyze me.
Also, Catherine, this may shock you. This is not therapy, but
Oh my god. I used to go to therapy. Sorry, I just cleared my throat in the mic. That's so gross. I went to therapy, and unfortunately, the personality. I'm gonna sound so sarcastic, but I'm being
Sure.
so for real. The personality type that I am is so hyper self-aware that it's apparently really hard for therapists to like help, because it's like, I think it's like hyper independence. It's like you know so much about your own problems that you basically gaslight yourself into having solutions, but you don't apply them. And so I used to go to therapy. Shout out my therapist. Well, she's not my therapist anymore. But she would literally just be like, "So why are you here?" And I'd be like, "Girl, because like I know the answers, but like I want to off myself. Like, can you help
Oh,
me?"
wow.
And she'd be like, "Well, then just don't off yourself." So I stopped paying for it because I realized that I'm incurable.
Or maybe you just agreed.
Huh?
Or maybe you just agreed. You were like, yeah.
Yeah, I realized that I could just gentle parent myself instead, and it's a lot cheaper.
It's almost like, and Kyrie, you can correct me if I'm wrong. It's almost like if you try to be healthy in a way that honors and blesses yourself, you might achieve it. If you have the tools, go to therapy. You
Go to therapy.
Go
Be
to
honest with
therapy.
yourself.
They'll give you tools.
Don't be me.
Well, I mean, also like there are some people, and I'm not saying I'll never do therapy. I'm not saying that
You should do therapy.
I need to do therapy. I want to do therapy. If you're a therapist and you want to do it for free with me, just to like figure out what's going on in my noggin, Kyrie, you can be my therapist. But
I love how you assume she'd do it for free.
hey.
Honestly, I would. I have more trauma.
Oh my god.
She's like social experiment.
Oh my god. Let's figure out. I want to know if you have something worse than I do.
How hard can I push before you crack?
Oh my gosh.
Get my DSM-5 out and
Oh my gosh.
I love that.
Oh my gosh. Oh man. I would hate to find out if I'm a narcissist. I don't think I am. I don't even know like what's scale. Like I don't know. Like I think everyone says narcissist, but it's like that's like an unfair term to use because like don't you have to be like super like there are I'm assuming there are specific not just qualities but like your brain has to be wired in a certain way to be a narcissist. But everyone's like, oh yeah, you're a narcissist. That's a narcissist. That guy's such a narcissist. I'm like, hey, he just cut in front of you. Like, hey, like like
It's like you can be self-serving, not a narcissist.
you could be selfish. Some people are like I think everyone is selfish. Like I don't know. But anyway, I would like to go to therapy, but I'm also like a self-questioning person. I never think I'm fully right, so I will question every avenue of my decisions, which I'm pretty sure in its own right is toxic. But I don't know. Like I think there are people that they genuinely do not question anything. They just do. They just live. They are products of their own decisions and do not question them anyway. Like I knew this teacher. This is super real. I knew this teacher and she was teaching us US history. And I was like, I could be wrong. But wasn't like why are we loving all these presidents when they were cool with slavery? I was like, isn't that bad? And then she was like, first of all, if you were living in that time, you would totally own slaves. And I was like, whoa, wait, hold up. I was like, ma'am, like, you're not racist, right? And she's like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, I've never seen her treat anyone indifferently. But I'm like, you cannot, like, it's almost like she was so stuck to how she thought because she was like, this is so correct. And I'm like, you may not be a bad person, but your inability to change or maybe question things and get offended when other people question it might be a problem. It might be, I don't know. I guess that there are some people that don't question their motives. They don't question their thought processes. Like I would hope that me questioning myself is a good thing. I would hope.
I would think taking self-inventory is a good thing.
Well, I consider that self-inventory. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what I just said.
Oh, I thought you were saying like.
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay, cool. I like being agreed with too. Is that should I question myself about being agreed with? Should you push back, Catherine? Push back against me?
Christian, you want therapy so bad.
I do want.
This
I
is
do want-
not what that podcast is about.
No, it's not. It's not.
Maybe you shouldn't.
Question myself?
No. Turn this podcast into therapy.
It's not therapy. It's just I had this rambling thought. Ouch. Anyway, what's the next topic?
Oh, okay. Hold on. I started thinking about my U.S. history teacher when you started talking about your U.S. history teacher.
What was your U.S. history
I'm
teacher?
like, I feel like I've been talking
PDF files.
too much. So I'm like, should I even go there?
We should just start bleeping. But it can't be something gimmicky. It has to be something that still dishonors them, like and
I'm
invalidates
like, should we go
them.
there or should I wait?
Wait, what was wrong with your U.S. history teacher?
My U.S. history teacher in high school was an actual,
PDF file.
Oh wow!
and he like really liked me. First of all, can I put this disclaimer?
wait,
out there?
pause. Wait, okay. Can we just shift? Can we just
I love how
vocally
you paused my disclaimer.
shift this? That's okay. Because I'm cool to talk about this. That's just crazy.
Disclaimer. I've never had too bad of an encounter with a pedophile. I don't know how to say this.
What? That's not a good disclaimer.
Yeah, let me
Trigger
work on
warning
it.
is a better way. of
No,
saying
let me
it.
disclaim first and then trigger warning. We're gonna talk about
PDF files.
disclaimer. Just because I've been around a lot,
PDF files.
it's like I've never been one-on-one with
PDF file.
put it that way.
That's good. Praise
As
God.
a minor, I don't know about an adult. My U.S. history teacher. I guess I'll talk about it. We can cut it out if this is getting too dark because this is a comedy podcast.
Is it comedy?
I don't know.
Continue.
I like to think I'm funny, so.
I think you're funny.
Yes, I was a sophomore in high school and I had U.S. history, and this was considered a junior class, so I was like the youngest in my class or whatever. And I thought it was so cool because I was like with the juniors, and I was like, ooh, I'm cool. Anyways, my U.S. history teacher was really weird. He used to be a college professor. This was his first year teaching minors. And I just always like got a bad vibe around him. He was like super weird. And I always like tried not to talk to him too much because he just seemed a little too interested in what I had to say. And like, and there's nothing wrong with like being a conversationalist despite like anyone's age. But I think it's just different when you're like intently staring at me like, and I'm like saying a bunch of hot air. Like, I don't know. So one day I got to his class like super early. And I sat down and I was just like minding my own business. I've always been like a sarcastic, like self-deprecating person. That's like my
Sure.
comedy style.
Okay.
And I just sat down. He was like cleaning the classroom. I was the only one in there. And he's like up next to my desk and he's like, wow, there's so much trash in this classroom. And me being like, he literally handed me the joke. I was like, I'm going to take it. I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll leave. You know, that's funny.
Okay.
He turns to me, like, trash can in hand, by the way, turns to me, like, rubs my arm and goes, you need more self-confidence.
Absolutely not.
Not
Oh,
only
no.
is this guy super creepy, he's, like, super ugly, too. Like, not that would make it better.
Yeah, no, I know.
But,
What you mean.
but, like, as a 15-year-old, you know, when your teacher's hot, you're like, ooh, no. This was, like, oh, my God. Like, why would you do that? So then, like, I'm a lot more outspoken now, but like back then I was like super shy. So like froze up and was like, what just happened? So like fast forward. So that happens. Nothing else happens. I go, oh, okay, whatever. I brush it off. People start coming in the classroom. You know, everything's fine. Then I ended up having a lot of friends in that class. So I was like more outgoing in that class.
Okay.
And one of my friends in the class, like we went to prom together. But it was just like, it was strictly platonic. Like he was just in our friend group and we all
Yeah.
wanted to go together.
Yeah, sure.
And so I was his date, and he like how he asked me to prom. He came to my house and like had a poster and was like, "Will you go to prom with me?" And I was like, "Oh, absolutely!" Like prom as a sophomore, flex.
Yeah.
And also because it's only junior senior prom, and then also I was like, "You're my homie, so I get to see all my friends, of course." So when he asked me to prom, like he met my dog and like my dog was jumping all over him and like scratched him. Well, in class, like we're all sitting down talking, and we're talking to like the teacher, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Kat, by the way, like I still have scratches on my arm from when I asked you to prom, and like your dog jumped on me."
Okay.
This fully adult man standing in the middle of the classroom, looks me up and down and goes, "Are you sure those scratches were from the dog or was it from the cat?" I literally,
Did well, but like, and I'm not trying to do devil's advocate in any type of way, but like, did you ever tell him you had a cat?
no, like he clearly was making a sexual
Oh my
innuendo.
gosh.
Like, and it was so creepy. At
That's
that point,
crazy.
like up until this point, I was kind of like gaslighting myself. I was like, maybe I just think he's ugly and I just don't like talking to him, like my teacher.
Sure. Okay.
I know that's so shallow, but like I was just trying to like explain why I just did not like him and just felt so uncomfy around him. But after that comment, like the whole class went silent, like no one laughed. And
Yeah.
this guy that I went to prom with, like he was class clown. He was like dark humor, like he would always go above and beyond like the line. Like because he was funny.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
that was just his thing. Shock value humor. He he did not think that was funny. Like
Yeah.
even he was like, "Why would you say that?" Like everyone was just silent. Like, "Why would you say that?" And it got super awkward. And like I was like in the front of the class, and I was just like, "Okay," like I just said okay because I didn't know what to do, and so we had to like pivot, and we just dropped it and like continued going on with the lesson and whatever. And then later on that same day, like I was showing because he was cool about having phones out in the class. I guess he wanted to be like a cool teacher. I don't know. I was
sure
showing
he
my
did.
friends like photos from prom, and he like wanted to see one of the photos of me and my friend that were in the same class together. And so I showed him, and he goes, "Oh my god, you look like a girl I used to date in the '90s." I still have a picture of her in my wallet. You want to see it? First of all, why are you still carrying that photo around? Like, the 90s was like 20 years ago at that point. Maybe a little less than 20. It's 2015. At least, yeah, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Second of all, like, why are you comparing a student to someone that you used to date? That's so weird. After you made that comment.
It's so weird. You know that's such a creepy risk having a teacher, just like, and I mean I hope in no way did he ever succeed.
Actually, he did succeed. He got fired.
Oh wait, what?
Okay, so we'll push the story along real quick.
Please.
Basically, I told the principal, but the assistant principal I told, allegedly had her own situation with minors, so she did not care. She literally did not care about. I had all this evidence, and she's like, "I'll send out an email because that's really inappropriate." But honestly, I don't feel like that's enough to change classes. So you can just keep going to class since nothing
Change
happened.
classes? Fire this dude.
And that's what I said. I was like,
500
"Oh."
yards from a school.
I
like-
literally was like, "So you're not going to discipline him?" And she was like, "No, nothing happened." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." It was just super invalidating. But I was like, honestly, other than being embarrassed, nothing did happen. So whatever. To me, fast forward, I graduate, and it's 2020, like right before the pandemic. It's
Yeah.
2019, actually. My best friend, who's 2 years younger than me, is in his class. Nothing happens to her, by the way.
Okay, good.
She calls me one day, and she goes, "Catherine, like, your U.S. history teacher got fired." And I said, "What?" This guy followed a student home one day, went to her house, and tried to show her his car. Like, apparently the same thing. He picks one student in every class that is a girl and like young, and I guess like not outspoken enough to stand up for themselves, and like capitalizes off of them. And she apparently for months was like making these innuendos to her and like making all these jokes and whatever, and she was super uncomfortable by it, but she didn't know how to like in the same situation that I didn't know what to say at the time. Like she didn't know what to say. And so like he asked her like where she lived, and like told her about like how he was getting a new car and everything like that. And she was like, "Oh, okay, cool," like because she didn't want her grades to like get punished for it. And so she was like, "Okay, cool, whatever." And then he like tried to follow her home one day, and she told him not to, and she told the principal. Principal did nothing about it. Then he showed up at her house one day and rang the doorbell and told her parents that he was here for her, and tried to show her whole family his car, and like was like gleaming about how much he liked this student, blah blah blah. Where her parents went to the school board, and he got fired. And I'm pretty sure he's probably in prison now.
The parents, you know, like, you know, man, um, yeah, that's just so weird. That's crazy. How do you even vet that? Like,
Well, and the
how do you
crazy
even,
part
you know,
is,
mitigate?
you could have, this was all avoidable.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, no. So this guy was a college professor. So there's this website called Rate My Professor. And while I was in his class, this was his first year teaching, we would all read his reviews, and all of the students said, this guy is creepy. He followed me around campus. This
Out
guy is
of
creepy. He tried to follow me to my dorm. This guy is creepy. He offered me an A if I slept with him, like some serious stuff. And we would talk about it at school. Like, it was common knowledge. So I'm sure the APs and the principal knew about this, and they just did not care at this point. And it's like, all of this was avoidable. Who knows how many students he actually like was creepy to, and their parents just didn't stand up for them, you know? And so it's like, in my case, it's like not that big of a deal because yeah, it's uncomfy, but he didn't follow me to my house. He didn't try to do anything with me. He was just weird. But who knows how many people he did try to do something with, or like did follow to their house, like, you know? And their parents just didn't do anything about it.
Wow. I feel like I should maybe make an apology for my U.S. history teacher. If the worst thing you did was, you know, be a little ignorant, you know,
Racist.
crazy, really. But I mean, if the worst thing you did was say an ignorant comment, you know, you're forgiven. But man, that's and see, this is the thing, like I don't even know how do you operate a large organization and not care about that first if it's directly with minors and children and vulnerable people? Like, how do
you know what's crazy?
How do you do that?
I currently operate a much larger organization than my school. Like, my school had 2,000 kids in it.
Okay.
It was like a 3A.
Sure.
We had one teacher and 4 APs, assistant principals. Yes, one teacher. We had one principal and 4 APs. That's 5 people in like the faculty hierarchy that could vet these individuals. We had probably like 300 teachers max. Like, I don't want to diminish like the roles of these teachers and stuff, but I'm like, y'all were not drowning in work. This is so easily avoidable. I understand not being able to mitigate like a new case, or like someone that just graduated college and like becoming a teacher. You have no background on them. I get that. But like, to not vet a college professor that has these resources readily available to them is really lazy.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you mean. I think like, I just think that's crazy. I think it is hard for me to just put it in my head, like, you cannot have that much work that this wasn't vetted. At some point, it's either, which I don't think it's ignorance. I'm super a conspiracy theorist. I think people are more cunning and conniving than they seem. So I genuinely believe this might have not been an oversight. Not that someone willingly wanted that, but they were like, oh, well, that's not too bad.
I think it was more like, well, that will never happen.
Dude, that that would never happen mentality. Like, which I don't want to like act like I don't do that in some type of way. Like, I didn't drive with my wallet today. So I guess that's a form of, I'm not getting pulled over today. But it's the same type of parents that will allow their kids, like, and I knew this, like, I feel like this story is kind of relevant. It's not too long, so I'll keep it short. But I remember I was 15 years old, and we were, my brother and I, we used to travel. We used to, you know, play music. We used to go to different churches, and, you know, that's just what we used to do. We just have a band, just me and him. And I remember we had a friend of ours who, his whole thing was like, he wanted to make sure that like people who were moving in from Central America, South America, that they were like not just spiritually aware, but also like kind of like had common sense. It's like he would like he's an incredible person. Juan, you're my boy. But yeah, Juan, he's really great.
We love Juan.
I love Juan. But the thing about Juan is that I remember there was a situation where these parents, they like he was just yelling at them. I was like, what's going on? And he was like telling me, he's like, yeah, like this 16-year-old girl, she's dating a 32-year-old. And I was like, what do you mean dating? Like they found like, you know, and I'm not going to say in any way that she would never have been a victim, because absolutely she would be a victim. But it's like, there are some kids that, you know, maybe for whatever reason will search that type of attention, and horrible people will, you know, take advantage of it. But it was a situation where the parents were paid by this guy who was 32 years old, 32, 36 years old. And he basically paid their parents to date her. And I was just like, I'm like, what is going on? And like, he's telling us like, hey, like I'm calling the police. Like he's doing everything he should. And the parents like,
Period,
well,
Juan.
yeah, I know, dude, Juan is for the people. But the parents are like, well, you know, we'll deny it. And the police was like, yeah, because like if the girl says nothing's happening and the parents say nothing's happening and this guy says nothing happening and you have no proof of it, nothing's happening, right? Like we can like look at it, we can keep it looking, but it's like nothing's really happening. And so we're like just upset. You know, Juan loses communication with them, which, you know, because he's like, if I can't help you change that mentality, there's no point in me being around you, like really. But I remember we're at this McDonald's, my brother and I, and we're like in the middle of Texas, and I see them, and I'm trying to register in my head. At this point, maybe she's 18, 19 years old. It's been some few years since then. And I see them and I'm like, dude, a whole childhood is like robbed, taken away. And, you know, like God knows like what kind of trauma she has that's okay with staying in that type of relationship. But dude, I'm my brother and we're like trying to hold ourselves back from attacking this guy. And like, because I think there's this thing where it's like you have this righteous anger where you know, I see this now 40-year-old guy hugging and, you know, holding her, and she's pregnant. And I'm like, yeah, like she's pregnant. And I'm like, dude, like I can't do anything about this. Like I want, like my brother and I were literally like, bro, like let's get up. Let's like, you know, grab him and start just going in. But there was just this part of us is like, but there's nothing we can do. And so all that to say, it's like, I don't know how I don't know how those parents live with themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know how that
And I think like
principal lives with herself really too.
Well, also it's like going back to what you said, like not knowing the trauma that made her okay with, you know, staying. I think it's more like when you're young, like, you know, you kind of take, I mean, as a teenager, it's a little different because you start kind of struggling with individual thought. And so you're like, I know my parents tell me one thing, but like I feel another. And so you can kind of get a little more rebellious. But I think like when you're younger, you are more impressionable to like your environment you're brought up in. And so I think that's so normalized to people like that they don't understand that that's wrong. So like, you know, for instance, like Demi Lovato, like she released that song, you know, Finally 29, and she's like, well, 17 would never cross my mind. And it's like, yeah, when you're 17, when you're 16, when you're 15, and you think like this attention from older, attractive people is good because you feel grown. Because I felt grown. Like whenever I would get attention from older people, not my U.S. history teacher, but from other people, like I would be like, yeah, I'm just really mature. Like that's why they want to be my friend. Yeah, I'm really mature. That's why they want to date me. Like, I'm really mature. Sorry. But the truth of the matter is like, you're not. Like you might be really mature, but people who are older, they don't see that. They see a young, impressionable individual, and they want to capitalize off of it. And so I think it does, when you're the victim in that situation, like the self-realization doesn't happen until like much later in life. Like even me in a much smaller sense, like when I turn the age of someone who, you know, on a much smaller scale, either was into me or like wanted to be my friend, like, or, you know, wanted to be an influence in my life when they were clearly an adult and I was a minor. I had the same self realization. I was like, I would never at 25, I would never date a 16-year-old ever. I don't care how mature they are for their age. That's still not right. Like,
Yeah.
that's, you know what I mean? And it's like, I think for the girl, like, my heart goes out to her because
Yeah.
I get that mentality. I have parents that love me and that would never do that, by the way.
Yeah.
And even I just remember being 16 and how easily that could have been me, you know, if my parents were different, if I had a different upbringing, if I had a different environment, you know, or like whatever the case may be. It's so easy to not have that clarity until much later in life. And so in the same way, like Demi Lovato, like that song really stuck out to me because it's like, wow, 17 really wouldn't cross my mind, like that clarity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just like my heart goes out to that girl that, you know, when she hits 32 or when she hits 30 or even much younger, 27, whatever, that, you know, she's able to heal from that, you know, and be able to look at her surroundings and you know, grasp the weight of her circumstances and that she has a support system in her life to be able to, you know, support her through that.
Yeah, going on a little bit what you said, just a little bit. I don't want to go too much time on it, but I'm 26 years old, you know, and I had this conversation with like a couple 19-year-olds that, you know, we all served together at a church, and I was just telling them, I was like, if I were not married, which we're married by the way, if I weren't married and I were in the dating game, and you know this church or my community is where I'm dating into. Maybe it's age, maybe it's something else, but like I could never date you. I could never, and I was telling them I could never date y'all because like, sorry, I'm 26 years old. I have a car. Like I have, you know, I have maturity. I have years of trial and error in life. I have, I guess I have a different experience that would not allow me to relate to someone who's like barely leaving their parents' house. I couldn't do it. Like I don't know what it is, and it's not hate to people who have large age groups. I don't think that's age gaps. I don't think it's crazy that you know you're 20 to 8 years old dating a 21-year-old. I think age gaps are age gaps. I think maturity is maturity, but I think a vulnerable person is a vulnerable person. So I could not date someone that's coming out of vulnerability so quickly. I don't know why. I can't do it. And because I guess because there's so much inability for me to manipulate that, for me to manipulate how they're molded, how they talk, how they open up. I guess that's kind of weird. And I don't want to criticize people, but like there are some people, and you see them, they're like 30 years old, 40 years old, their best friend's like a 20-year-old. Like, are you crazy? I can't relate to you. Like, I can't be your friend. I can't be like, hey, bro, like, you know, like let's talk about something serious. And I'm like, I'm 26 years old talking to a 16-year-old about some like life? Are you crazy? Like, have you ever had an older friend like that? And they try to like, bro, honestly, let's normalize boundaries. Like, let's normalize age boundaries. If you're not my age, I most likely will not open up with you. Maybe if we're in a vulnerable place, maybe if it's a curated place, obviously if it's like monitored, especially by my wife, but by other people. But I'm like, dude, I'm not opening up with you if you're like 18 years old. And I'm like, yeah, you know, this is a good place for me to just be vulnerable with you.
Well, and I think I want to say, ooh, girl, you kick that. I want to say something to kind of like redeem what you're saying, just so it's not like misconstrued, because
Sure.
we are youth leaders and
Yeah.
and we're mentors and we have mentors too, and you
Good
know,
luck to them.
man, shout out. But I think it's not that you're not able to be friends or to enjoy the company of someone who is younger or 18, but it's like I'm not going to give the same energy to an 18-year-old that I would say a 26-year-old.
Yeah.
And it's no shade
Yeah.
at all, because it's not your fault that you're not at the same level as me. That is normal, and that is okay. That is a good thing. You at 18 should not be able to level with a 26-year-old. If you're able to level, PSA, if you are 18 and you're able to level with a 26-year-old fully, you need to evaluate that 26-year-old's life.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely. Go ahead and repeat that. That's absolutely.
because it's like so many emotionally stunted people are like pose such a hazard to like normal, healthy, freshly young adults, and that's not okay. If you're 26 and you're leveling with someone who's in their first semester of college, like, you need to self-evaluate yourself, because what have you not accomplished in the last 5 years of your life
Yeah.
that this person is accomplishing, that y'all are the same. Sorry, just hit the mic. But all that to say, I love my young adult friends.
Yeah,
I love them so much, but I just approach that relationship differently.
Yeah.
I recognize the power dynamic. I recognize, like, I'm in a place of power because I'm older and I have more experience, and I'm able to be a mentor in these people's lives. Not to say that I'm perfect or the best example all the time,
Yeah.
but to not recognize that power dynamic and to completely throw it out the window is a disservice to those people and yourself.
Well, I just wanted to kind of get on that power dynamic, because I feel like there's two sides of this. There is a type of person who recognizes that power dynamic. They know they have control over that person. They're like manipulative to whatever end there is. Like, not everyone. I just also want to say this. Not everyone that's manipulative is like evil. I think some people are manipulative emotionally, and there's like, I just want to like suck the life out of you. And so like, like I want to drain you the way I'm drained emotionally. And so, which I don't think is illegal. I don't think that's clearly
It's also like a subconscious thing a lot of the time.
Yeah, like I also don't think those people like think about doing that. But that doesn't excuse the people who do it, who knowingly do it. So, I think, but like I said, there's those people that know that they're doing it, and then there's those people that are ignorant. And I feel like those ignorant people are dangerous. Like, I know this sounds crazy, but I don't think that ignorance is I want to put this delicately because I don't want to offend people, because I genuinely care about people. But I don't think ignorance is an excuse for bad behavior. I think, like, and that doesn't mean
100%.
But and the reason that sounds and it sounds vague, because bad behavior can be something as small as like, oh, I didn't know that, I shouldn't be opening up about, my relationship life with a 18-year-old. From that to, oh, I didn't know that dating an 18-year-old was bad and I'm 32. Like, and it's not that it's illegal, but it's like, dude, there's clearly a power dynamic here that's probably not great. And you haven't even given that person time to live life. And so I think like it's kind of creepy how people would label it as, well, I was just opening up. Or I just wanted to be friends with them. Or, that they're around and I just needed a vent. And it's like, I kind of regret, and maybe when I was younger, I would have friends that were a little on the younger side, and I would like talk to them about emotional stuff. And I'm like, man, I regret that so bad. Because I genuinely look at people who are younger than me as like I recognize that power dynamic now. And I'm like, dude, like, first of all, like, I have to realize if I talk to you about my relationships with my wife, or my relationship with my brother, or my relationship with my mother, you probably are going through something similar. And then you'll probably either you'll think you're in the same maturity space as I am, so you'll operate like me, and then you'll make terrible mistakes, because that's just terrible. Like you should not operate in the maturity that you're not in. Or two, and this is the second one that I really think, you'll probably end up doing this thing where you're like, oh man, like I'm so insane for not like thinking like, man, I should be living like that. I should be operating in that type of way. I should be so mature, which is how I find a lot of these kids end up finding friends or relationships with older people because they're like, I want to be like that. I want to be 28 years old, living on my own, having good credit. And, like, and, because it's not always bad things. It's sometimes they try to mimic good things. But that's why I'm like, it's a crazy thing. I think ignorant people are dangerous.
Yeah, and I think there's a difference between, like, you can be vulnerable with someone that either you're mentoring or someone that, you're that you're friends with that is younger than you. I think you can be emotionally vulnerable with them and it not be so drastic to, impact their, like, way of viewing life.
Sure.
But I think there's a difference between, like, being vulnerable and an intentionality of saying, hey, I relate to you because I also went through this. Like, here's how I got out of it, or here is what I'm doing. This is how I cope with it. And, like, just straight up trauma dumping on a fresh 18-year-old. There's a big difference.
First of all, you should not be trauma dumping on just anyone, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's different if you have a mentor.
Well, no, like, if I'm your equal.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean,
like, venting is one thing, but trauma dumping is like, I'm telling you everything, and I'm leaving it with you. Good luck.
I guess so. But I think, like, if that's your friend and, like, you have a symbiotic relationship, like, you can trauma dump on me because I'll be able to walk you through that. And then, like, I would hope that I could trauma dump on you in the future.
Yeah, but they're specific people.
Yeah, it's true. It's definitely different than just, like, we see each other once a week, and the most I've ever asked you was, like, your Starbucks order, and you're just like, and this happened, and you're just, like, going ham, and then you never talk to them again. Yeah, I think that's completely different. But yeah, I think there's just layers to it, and I think that relationships in general are just a lot more complicated than how people perceive them to be. But yeah, I don't know.
No, but like that's so good, man. I know we're kind of closing up on time, but to end on like I'm glad that we kind of ended on a better note, like maybe just like a healthy nugget of wisdom on relationships. You should honor the people you're around. Maybe that's a good way of putting. We should honor the fact that guy's an Albanian mafia guy making money in Dallas. I don't really respect how he's doing it if he's doing it by ways that are illegal and destructive to other people's safety.
I almost said hashtag goals, and I was like, wait, no.
No.
That's not the goal.
No. But if you're doing it well, good for you, man. If you're, tithing at a church and, paying taxes.
Pay your taxes.
Please pay your taxes.
2 things are for certain in life: the IRS and death.
Yep. And, I was trying to end on a higher note.
I have more topics if we wanted to just, like, do a hard switch so we can end on an even higher note.
Even higher note, go.
Oh, God. Okay, well.
God, question mark?
No, I wasn't going to go there.
That'd be the worst thing to talk about.
I don't know how to pivot from this, but I will say I'm mercilessly addicted to TikTok. So a little funny haha that I put in my notes is this one girl's TikTok bio. It's literally just sturdy as hell. And I just thought that was so relatable.
Like sturdy as in?
Sturdy as hell. That's it.
What?
And I'm like, honestly, you ever see something and you wish that you came up with it first? Because it's just so funny and good.
Yeah.
I had that moment and I was like, why didn't I think of that? I am sturdy as hell. I'm a sturdy girl.
Can you define sturdy?
Sturdy.
Because you say sturdy, and I'm thinking like a lumberjack.
Yeah. I'm thinking sturdy like a goodly built. Wow.
Are you
sturdy like my vocabulary? When I think of sturdy, I think of a well-built table,
So sturdy like emotionally sturdy or like just...
No, physically sturdy.
She's like buff?
Sturdy. Like planted.
Planted. So
like this table is not sturdy. But like,
she's not flimsy.
Like a mahogany desk, how it's just sturdy.
So she's not flimsy.
I guess not.
Are the people at Pilates flimsy?
They're not sturdy.
They're not sturdy.
They're nimble.
Like,
And that's my
cool.
problem with being a Pilates girly. I don't want to claim that because I'm just so not that. But like, I would like to be. But I say things like, I'm sturdy. Could you imagine me in some aloe leggings and like Lululemon being like, I'm sturdy, guys?
There's people that do it.
No, they're not. They're not doing that. They're wearing their aloe leggings and they're drinking their Bloom Nutrition and they're like, I have clear skin.
Have you ever met people that try to manifest a healthy, like healthy physique, and they do no work for it? Like me, like I am that person. I will say, hey man, like I value health. Like, I went to the gym for the second time this year.
Honestly, me though.
No, but like
I know you're talking about yourself, but like I identify with this.
I don't know. I like to think I'm healthy. I guess that's like that human thing. Again, you know, the in-house therapist can go ahead and correct me if I'm wrong. I'd like to think I'm healthy, but I know my doctor and a few of my friends who are bodybuilders would vehemently disagree.
Didn't your doctor tell you to stop eating grease?
Bro, my doctor literally told me, dude, you might as well not stop. Like, he's like, dude, you're already on this destructive path of, chaos. And I was like, well, listen, if I'm chaotic in my mind, my body, and my soul, which I don't think I'm chaotic in my soul. I'm chaotic in my mind for sure.
Are you troubled?
I don't think so.
Can we talk about doctors real quick? I haven't been to the doctor in like 4 years. And I just want to say, the reason I haven't been to the doctor, one, I moved states. Two, the last time I went to the doctor, first of all, 30 pounds ago. Last time I went to the doctor.
Shout out. Hey, congratulations.
I gained 30 pounds. Thank you.
Oh. Continue.
Thank you. Last time I went to the doctor, I stepped on the scale. And this was when I was skinty. I stepped on the scale. And that nurse practitioner, first of all, had the audacity not to move the scale number from like 0 to 100, like the big daddy scale number, not the little baby one, but like the big kahuna. Yeah, no, she kept moving that little like teeny tiny one, and I was like, girl, no, and she kept. I was like, girl, keep going. She kept pushing it, and she goes, looks me up and down. Oh, I didn't know you're that heavy. Moves the little one back, and then moves the big daddy one to 100. And I'm like, keep going.
It's good that she's at a doctor's office, because then, the treatment after I would have like just, elbowed her would have been crazy. Like she would have been stitched up quickly. That's insane. That's a crazy thing.
No, I'm not even done.
Wow. Like, no, but pause there.
I don't want to. I want to finish my story.
Okay, sure.
I kid you not. I it keeps going. Hits the weight I'm at. First of all, no tea, no shade, because I'm also not a skinty queen. This girl was not thin. Like, she was bigger than me. Looks me up and down and goes, well, you sure do carry it well. I'm sorry, had that been 5 years ago, I would have offed myself, like, right then and there.
Madam.
I'm like, had that been peak eating disorder, like, I would have been gone, dude. I literally thought to myself in that moment, wow, you are so lucky that I'm a better person than I used to be. Because the way that I would have gone scorched earth on you when I was eating half a pretzel a day is crazy.
Well,
what do you mean I carry it well?
Well, I don't know how much scorched earth you would have done if she was, like, pretty sturdy.
Sturdy as hell.
Because if she's sturdy, she's gonna. That's a fight right there.
It's true. She would have tore me up in the parking lot. But no, I'm just like. So I haven't been to the doctor since then. I don't know. That's not my full reason why I haven't gone. But like, I'd like to drop 30 pounds before I go, so at least I can get back to carrying it well and not. That makes sense,
Wow. I don't. Well, again, this was on the intention of ending on a high note. Yeah, man. Doctors.
Go to your doctor.
Go to your doctor.
If you're a nurse practitioner, don't comment on people's weight.
Can everyone just not comment on people's weight?
Well, no, the doctors need to.
Well, the doctor should. Can everyone who's not a doctor and not physically trying to tell you how to better yourself, when asked, mind you, I don't have a doctor. I don't go to the mall or I don't go to a store, and a doctor just looks at me and is like, dude, hit the gym. Like, that just doesn't happen to me. Thank you to all the doctors that I've walked past, and you've looked at me with disgust and said nothing. But please don't comment on people's weight. Please don't have an inappropriate relationship with minors. Please don't. What's another one?
Don't join the mafia.
Don't join the mafia. And if you
join
are,
the church.
you know,
You know that meme? Stop it. Get some help.
get some help.
Tune into episode 3 where I have like a really funny story I was going to share today, but like we can share it next time.
Yeah, this was a deep one. This was a good one. Again, just a recap, and maybe we can cut that out earlier, the interruption. But, recap, have safe relationships with people that are of appropriate age.
Follow Stormy on TikTok.
Follow Stormy on TikTok.
Buy stuff from her storefront. Look,
Yeah,
I'm trying to pay off my debt.
absolutely.
You like the podcast, don't you? Wouldn't you like it if we had another mic and could interview people? Go sound off in Stormy's comments, and then maybe we could add more people to this podcast.
Maybe, and just maybe, with more income, I can join a gym.
Or maybe more income, we'll stop filming the podcast. If you hate this podcast, go buy stuff in Stormy's storefront, because that will shut me up. Sound off in the comments below. Would you rather us stop or keep going?
Please don't, no.
All engagement's good engagement.
No, that's also not true.
It is true.
Rest in peace, Pope Francis. Good luck
I
to
miss
the
you,
next
buddy.
one. Good luck
Can't
to
wait
the next
see
one.
you over the
I-
Rainbow Bridge.
And can we just
Leo Skeppy, you're not watching, but if you are, can you send me some Versace, please?
I don't like Versace.
I will never own Versace in my life, probably.
I don't like Versace. I don't like their clothes. I mean,
You hate me because you ate me.
You don't have a Versace dress that you're like, oh my gosh.
Can you send me a Birkin?
Now that's different.
Birkin bag.
All right.
No,
Yeah.
please send me a Birkin. Also, I'd love to meet you, but please, keep me away from your mafia friends. I'm afraid of them. If you're in the mafia, don't get offended by this, because who am I to you? Poor.
Wow.
Oh,
First of all,
also-
don't declare that.
It's not declaring if I'm observing.
Next. Cut.
Hashtag know your tax bracket.
You were going to say also?
That was it.
Okay.
Because
Also.
we were talking about Michael Kors earlier today.
All right. Well, yeah. That's it, friends. That's it, folks.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the Backseat podcast. Go ahead and do your thing with those notifications. You know what to do. You've seen a podcast before. Thank you guys for just, listening to the farts of our mind and just where our conversations lead. And until next time.
Until next time. Also, we're not qualified for any of the things we've said. If there are
Everything
any
I
accusations,
said.
there are allegations, alleged rumors, and nobody should be hurt out of this.
Everything I said is alleged. Don't sue me. Previous high school. I didn't name drop you. And
Yeah,
if
you
you're not a
didn't say
previous high school and you are,
PDF files.
I'm not talking about you, but if the shoe fits, lace it up and wear it.
Wow. Again, allegedly, and
That wasn't alleged.
allegedly is going to be the words that we're going to use for safety reasons. So
I'm not afraid. I'm not a minor, so I don't need to fear you.
wow. But okay, just I know we're wrapping up. Short PSA: if you are a minor and a teacher or adult is acting like this with you,
Oh, actually, yeah.
please don't just report to your parents if your parents do nothing. Unfortunately, there are parents like that. We're praying for you. Teachers, doctors, pastors, everyone capable of authority, please report that, because there is a sane adult that will hear you out and be like, bro, that's insane. We're going to CPA.
Yeah, absolutely. And
CPS, my bad.
for my girls out there that don't know how to stand up for themselves or, don't know what to do, basically. Because, I've been you. In some degrees, I still am you. I'm learning, if you will. You're worth having a voice. You don't have to shy away and put up with it and, you know, just accept that as your lot in life. Like, feel empowered to stand up for yourself, because the minute that you take the narrative back and you stand up for yourself, like, that anxiety of taking that first step is so small compared to like the gratification you feel from setting a firm hand and saying, actually, you're weird. Like, it's okay. It's okay to call people out on their actions.
Yep.
Nothing bad is going to happen to you. Like, that adrenaline rush that you feel from like taking it back is worth any amount of anxiety that you have to overcome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Listen to what people say, know what they mean, and you know, y'all have a good one.
Normalize calling people weird.
Yeah, normalize calling people who are weird, who are doing weird and illegal things, weird and illegal and insane. All right, have a good one, guys.
Have a good guys.
Have a good guys.
Bye, y'all.
You know, bye Celsius.